So imagine for a moment, you're sitting across the table enjoying a coffee with a friend. Can you visualize it? Maybe you've got a favorite coffee shop you like to go to. And you're talking with that friend about all sorts of topics. You're talking about the weather, how hot it's been. You're talking about the cranky neighbor's dog that's been causing you issues. You're talking about your kids or other topics as well and enjoying the conversation. And then suddenly your friend leans in a little bit and says, "Can I ask you a question? What is your vision for your life?" And you're kind of pushed back a little bit. You're thinking, what is my vision for my life? We were talking about the weather. We were talking about my cranky neighbor's dog. And you're asking me these existential questions like, what is the vision or purpose for my life? Well, I guess I want to ask you that question as well. What is your vision for this next stage of your life? It's an important question to answer. And in fact, many of us never get around to asking that big, audacious question, which is, what is your vision? What do you want to see happen in this next stage of your life? Some people call it your big why. The Japanese from Okinawa call it your ikigai, your reason for being. So what does that look like for you? Well, years ago, I listened to a TED Talk that profoundly changed me. In fact, this TED Talk is ranked number 3 among the most viewed tech talks of all time. And it was done by an author, Simon Sinek, who's written the book Start With Why. And he talked about the golden circle. And in the middle of the golden circle is the why. And then there's the how. And then there's the what. So 3 circles: why, how, and what. And in the book, he illustrates the importance of having a prevailing why, something that drives you, your reason for being. And he relates it to organizations. He often references the company Apple and their reason for being, their overarching why that drives their mission, drives what they do. And he noticed that companies without a prevailing why often struggled and often didn't see the same long-term success as the companies that had a very clear why. So what I'd like to do for the next couple minutes is take you through this exercise based on the golden circle. So we're going to hit each of the 3 rings in this specific golden circle. So this golden circle is geared to those of you that are looking at your second act career, looking at starting a business, becoming a freelancer. And so the very first question is the why question. Why do you want to work as a freelancer or an entrepreneur? What is your why? Is it that you want to have a more flexible life? Is it that you want to have more freedom and autonomy in your day? Is it that you want to carve out a more remote lifestyle where you can work and travel whenever you would like? Would you like to have freedom over your schedule? Maybe it's because you need to take care of a sick loved one. Maybe it's an aging parent, and you need more bandwidth and more time to do that. Therefore, your own business or freelancing might offer the flexibility to do that. So what is your why? And let me tell you, it'll look different for every person. And so the exercise here is to fill in this blank. I want to start a freelance business so that I can blank. Have a more flexible life, be able to travel with my spouse, to be able to spend more time with my grandkids, to be able to take care of my aging parent. What is it for you? What would you fill in that blank? Because when you have a prevailing why in your business, it will drive you. It will sustain you. Even when things aren't going very well in your freelance business, you will look to your why and say, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that I can spend more time with my spouse, so that I can have a more flexible schedule, so that I can travel and experience the world as I've always desired. So what is your why? So that's the first exercise, to fill in that blank. So the second question is the what question. So what are my specific goals that I would like to accomplish? What are the things that I want to get done in order to fulfill my vision, in order to start a thriving freelance business? What are my goals? And in this part, it's important to be as laser specific as you possibly can. It's like saying, hey, I want to lose weight or I want to exercise more. Well, what does that mean? You can't tangibly measure that. And so when you're coming up with your what are my goals that I'm going to accomplish, you've got to be very specific. And think of the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time specific. Those are the types of goals that you want to create here. So in the book, The 12-Week Year, which I highly recommend everyone read, it's a tremendous book. They talk about this question as what is known as a lag indicator. So a lag indicator is basically determining your outcomes. What do you want to accomplish? What goal do you want to achieve? So what are your lag indicators? What are your goals? So your goal might be something like this. I would like to start a freelance writing business and land 3 clients by December 31st. All right, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time specific. All right, so think about your SMART goal. So that's the second question, is what goals do you want to accomplish? And I would encourage you to come up with 2 to 3 goals that will inspire you to fulfill your vision. All right, so 2 to 3 goals. The third question, and the how ring of the circle, is how are you going to get there? How are you going to actually accomplish your goals and ultimately fulfill your why or fulfill your vision? Okay, so these are sort of the actionable steps that you need to take in order to accomplish your goals. So if I'm going to start a freelance writing business, my action items for the next month might look like this. I'm going to enroll in a writing class so that I can hone my writing craft. I'm going to define my writing niche. Am I writing for financial newsletters? Am I writing for mommy bloggers? What is my specific niche? I'm going to research 5 writers in that niche so I can learn what they're doing, how they position their offer, how they package their services. I'm then going to go to the job boards like Upwork or FlexJobs, and I'm going to look for writing jobs in that particular area. Okay, so those are some examples of actionable tasks that I can take to fulfill my goal. So in the 12-Week Year, that book refers to those action items as lead indicators. So lead indicators are the action steps you take in order to fulfill the lag indicator, which is the outcome, the goal. All right, so it's important to identify your actions. It's great to have a big why. It's great to have very clear and measurable goals. But if you're not putting boots to it, in other words, if you're not taking daily, weekly, monthly action steps, then you're not going to get anywhere and you're not going to achieve the kind of business that you desire. So at the end of the day, you need to be utilizing all 3 rings of the golden circle. Why do you want to start a freelance business? What are the 2 to 3 specific goals that you would like to achieve, maybe over the next few months? And then how are you going to get there? Identify the 5 to 10 actions that you're going to take in the next month. I guarantee you, if you follow these 3 areas, you will move the needle in the development of your freelance business, and you'll be on your way. Now, if you are looking to sharpen your skills and you have some skill gaps that you need filled, or you just need help starting your business, I would encourage you to head over to Freelance University. We have an intake coming up. You can go into the description below and join the wait list for our next intake, because we're going to give you the skills and the tools that you need to start a thriving freelance business this year. Have a great day, everyone.